In this video, I would explain a little bit about session IDs and how to clear session IDs. Your website in the server side, it uses something called as a PHP session. Each session, it keeps it in memory, and this process accelerates the page response speed to make the application more responsive and to reduce the number of um, database calls. The server uses a session technology, and this session stores some of the information so that it doesn't have to do a lookup onto the database every time we request for when the same user is requesting for the same information. So there are few types of data that are stored in session in this platform, and one of them is your CSS and JavaScript files, and also um, it is the left column and the right column. Your menu system is also stored in sessions. So let's look at in the real world how that might affect you when you're working on your uh, website. In the previous video, when I was working on CSS and JavaScript, especially the CSS, I was trying to refresh and edit, and especially the domain wide, while working on the domain wide settings. When I came back and refreshed it in the editor, it didn't refresh, and I had to go and clear it. I had to pause the video and clear it, and then it worked. The reason is the domain wide codes are um, you know kept in memory by the server, and it's serving the old copy instead of the new copy. Let's take a look at it so that I can explain you even more in detail. Let's again go back to the same page that we were working on. All right, so in here we were working on this style code, and we added a code to the style in the domain wide settings in here, right there. So now this style is held in session memory. So when we change this style, so let's change the border color from red to black, and let's save it. So now this is saved. Yeah, it is saved. So we'll go close this, and when we come back and refresh this, you can see that it's not coming up. The color is still red. It has not updated. The reason is the server is still serving um, the copy of the file that it has in its session memory. While we are testing codes, it's kind of hard to test your codes if this is going to be the case. So I'll show you how to clear the session ID right from your browser. You just have to right click. I'm using Chrome browser, and I encourage you also to use Chrome browser, as it is easy to get into the cookies and other resources. That'll be easy for you to follow through. So in Chrome browser, if I right click on this page, I can click on inspect element. So I can click on inspect element, and it will open a section like this, and in this section I can click on resources, and in the resources section on the left side I have cookies. Click on cookies, and as we are working on 2-cycle motor oil, click on 2-cycle motor oil, and you'll see all the cookies that this software has kept in storage. So we are looking for a cookie called PHP session ID. So this is the cookie that we're looking for right now. Highlight on this cookie, and you can right click on it and click on delete. You can delete this session. So once this is taken care of, You can close that out and do a refresh here again, and you will see the border updated to the new code. So you're forcing the server to delete the memory and fetch it freshly from the database, the fresh code that you applied. And you can use the same technique, the console technique, like inspect element, this console technique, uh, for various things in your website, uh, to to see how styles are working. The styles are on the right side in your elements section. Um, Especially, you can do that if you're editing and wondering how a certain type of style works. Um, let's look at that for a minute. It can be very helpful for you when you're working on existing pages. So let's click on a home page. Um, like go to twocyclemodel.com, edit a home page, and if you're wondering how this button is, how the code for this button is working right now, uh, you can right click on it and do inspect element, and you can go right to it and see how that element is working right now, how that code is working right now. So the Chrome browser gives you a good access to the internals of the web page, and also the resources section, where you can have access to the cookies by domain and also local storage. This platform, your website uses local storage also. In local storage, you will see uh, various stored items. In As we go to twocyclemotoral.com, as we are working on that, you can see various uh, items that are stored in the local storage. And as you can see here, you have your left column and right column also stored in your local storage. So when you're working on your left and the right column, let's go there. So if I'm going to start editing on the left column and the right column, and when you refresh the page and see if it has updated, let's try that. So we will change the left column. We'll take off this accounts and just make it wholesale and see if we have achieved it and if it is reflecting um, on the real page. So let's click on here. Let's view it. As you can see, the left column is not reflecting that. This this must be just wholesale, as we've edited the left column. So probably we have to delete um, the session cookie one more time. Let's try that. Two cycle motor oil, right? And let's try this. Right there. See, now the left menu, the edit is reflecting. So since for efficiency, for the to make the whole website function um, very responsive, very quickly, I mean, to be very fast and um, to be responsive to the end user, to have an incredibly low page load times, the software is using some technologies to make everything fast. And one of the technology is to store as much as information um, in the local browser and on the server side. So when we are editing some components that is using this technology, you may come across that it's not responding to it. So at that point, just delete the cookies for the session ID, and then refresh and check it out, and it should work. And that's it for this topic. Thank you for watching.